G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be recapping everything you need to know about Season 8, which just launched today, and a bit of my thoughts on it as well, because a lot of you guys have been looking for me for my thoughts on what I wanted for the new season. I wanted to really change the map. I said I wanted like 5 or 6 new POIs, and I wanted maybe like 4 or 5 of the old POIs to get changed. We didn't really get that, but overall, I'm honestly still very happy with Season 8, and I want to talk about why that is, and also keep you guys up to date on some of the new stuff, because we have Harpoons coming back into the game. We have all these crazy new sideways alien weapons. We have the actual sideways zones, which are these kind of like zones you enter into where you fight a bunch of aliens / zombies. You get their loot. You can now get hunting rifles. Like, there is so much back in the game. Plus, there is going to be the ability mid-season to vote on which weapons we want to come back to the game. Yes, you heard that right. We get another chance to rewrite the wrongs we did in the past when we vote for the drum gun to come back. So I'm going to talk about all of that. We have some new mythics in the game with Carnage and Venom. There's a lot to talk about. It's a brand new season. Let's just jump straight into it. First off, the big question, let's talk about the new map. Now, I came into the season saying I really wanted about 4 or 5 new POIs added to the map, and I wanted about 4 or 5 existing POIs changed in some way to keep the game fresh. Let's be honest, straight off the bat, none of the existing POIs changed. This was very strange because especially when you looked at, when you watched the original event, which was amazing, by the way. I absolutely love that event. To me, that was one of the top 3 events ever in Fortnite's history. It got me so hyped for this new season. And right at the very end, it showed us a clip of the map. I'll show it here in case you missed it. It looked like the map was just being filled with just fire, destruction, debris. There was cubes falling over the map. I was really expecting a lot of changes. Now, we didn't really get that many changes. None of the existing POIs changed really at all from what I can see, but stay with me here. I'm actually really quite happy with this map for one main reason: competitive Fortnite. So what you are seeing is you're seeing no extra POIs being added, but this section, this section, this section, this section, and this section are drastically different. There's other little bits and pieces around the map as well, but I have now dropped at all of these locations multiple times today. They have more than enough loot for an entire trio. I would argue some of them, including this one and this one, if you do some split drops, you could actually create probably 2 trios worth of loot out of that. So we didn't lose any of our existing POIs, and we just gained, I would say, about 7 to 8 trios worth of loot for this FNCS. That is huge. When I'm talking about the fact that the last FNCS, the biggest issue for me is so many teams went into it feeling like they didn't have any chance to compete because there was just not enough loot on the map. And now they haven't given everyone their own POI, because obviously, like, you're gonna have to fight Holy Hedges, you're gonna have to fight Believers Beach, you're gonna have to rotate into Pleasant, near Coral. Like, there's still gonna be a lot of fights. They didn't just get these, big, massive building drops on the edge of the map where no one can fight them. I think it's gonna lead to really healthy fighting, really healthy aggression, but a lot of teams are going to get a chance to actually get loot on the board. When I first saw the trailer and I saw these UFOs falling, I thought we were just going to be ruining half the POIs and they were going to be on fire. So as much as the POIs didn't change, don't get me wrong, I'm a little bit upset by that. I have a feeling that halfway through this season, I will again get a little bit bored of the map. But overall, for competitive, which is where my heart does truly lie, I think this map, I don't think this map, I know this map is so much better than the last one. Competitively, this map is far superior. Add that to the fact that I'm almost positive right now there's like 80 to 90% chest spawn. Like, there feels like there's almost 100% chest spawn, but there has been a couple games where I've dropped and there hasn't been a chest. That is a massive improvement on what we've been seeing recently. That is a huge step forward as far as the map goes. Now, yes, the POIs don't have names on them. I get it. They're not technically POIs in the sense it's not like Stealthy Stronghold, but they have more loot than some of the major POIs. Some of these spots have double the loot of what Sludgy Swamps does. So again, I don't want to hear this, they added nothing to the map. They added 6 new very fun locations as well that have like slipstreams. They have the crazy, cubes that you can like activate to fly around. They're really fun drop spots. So essentially they have added 6 new drop spots to the map. I just wish they updated some of the old ones to keep things a little bit more fresh. But overall, it's looking really good as far as the map. Competitively, yes, I know a lot of you guys are going to come at me. I was streaming. I had so many kids come into my chat and tell me the season sucks. The map didn't change. Aussie, you must be so upset. Everyone thought I was going to be angry. And maybe I'm just in an overly positive mood. I'm just being really optimistic. But from what I can see, and from talking to a lot of my friends who are very much in the competitive scene, they love the map. Now, let's talk about some of the meta changes and these new weapons, because there are some massive ones. One of the biggest, factors of the new season is the sideways. If you don't know what the sideways is, there's a bunch of rifts around the map, and when you get near them, they activate. A giant, like, orangey red globe goes around you, and you have to fight off the zombies or the aliens or whatever you want to call them. Now, from eliminating them, you're going to get specific sideways loot. There's a sideways assault rifle. There's the sideways minigun. Now, do I like these weapons? So far, not really. The way they function is they deal more damage the more you charge them up. So it's the opposite of a normal minigun. A normal minigun, you start off shooting, and once it goes too far, it overheats and you can't shoot anymore. This one, you're supposed to charge it up until it does more damage, and then it shoots until there's a cooldown, and it cools down like a normal minigun. You don't have to reload either the AR and the minigun. They both function the same way. Shoot for longer, deal more damage, no magazine, but once it overheats, you have to wait until it cools back down. Now, there is one major issue with the minigun especially. It can shoot and get bleed damage through zero ping walls a lot. Obviously, I don't want to say, buff zero ping. I'm not saying that at all. I'm using zero ping as an advantage, that even a player on zero ping, such as myself, I can't hold my walls without damage going through to me. Some of you guys might like that because, again, holding walls is pretty broken on zero ping. I get my walls taken a decent amount, but nowhere near as much as some of you guys, where if you can now just shoot a minigun through the walls and deal damage, that does technically, it makes the game more aggressive. It hurts players who are trying to play overly defensive, which I do kind of like. But as far as competitive goes, anytime there's a gun where there's a lot of bleed damage, which means bullets getting through walls despite holding them, I'm never a huge fan of that, because competitively that can lead to some big issues. Now, these miniguns and ARs are everywhere. So to get into the sideways, you have to find some of the rifts, but there's a lot of them in mid-game, and there is a lot of parts. You can also upgrade them by getting more of these alien parts from killing more of them. So if you get a blue, minigun, you can then upgrade it to purple, legendary, and you can even go mythic, just by killing more of the aliens and getting more parts. So far, I don't really like the playstyle of the assault rifle or the minigun. I just find the whole idea that I need to shoot it to charge it up feels odd. If I'm peeking someone with an assault rifle, normally I'm taking 1 or 2 shots and ducking back in. I'm not just holding it, trying to beam them for a long period of time. So it's not my favorite playstyle, but it does seem quite strong. As far as the funness of it, it gets old pretty quickly. One of the biggest issues being you can't build while in there. So a trick that I would teach you, if you guys really want to just get free kills, wait until you have an opponent activate the rift area, stay on the edge of it, like right on the very bubble, step in, beam the living crap out of them because they can't build. If they for some reason return fire, step back out. Build a wall, met up, step back in. So it is a bit annoying. I would also recommend to counter that if you are trying to farm these sideways areas to get the loot, because again, it is pretty strong. Make sure you're activating it and going to the edge, because if someone pushes you, you want to be able to get out as quickly as possible to start building. Just a pro tip for you. So it is a little bit annoying. It's going to be interesting for competitive because it does move every single game and it doesn't drop really any meds from what I can see. You do get a couple of meds from the chests inside, but overall, if you're taking a bunch of damage, which you probably shouldn't though, you are going to go through a lot of ammo, but you get ammo back. It's going to add a fun element. I don't really know exactly how it's going to affect competitive yet. As for arena, it gets boring pretty quickly. I did play for about 7 or 8 games and I was almost already over it just because I didn't like the weapons that I was getting. If they buff the weapons and make them stronger, it could be a fun little element. One of the major changes to the loot pool is the fact that there are no more sniper rifles in the game as far as floor loot and chest loot goes. I mean, you have the semi-auto snipers or the automatic snipers, which are terrible. I have absolutely zero clue why this is in the game. It's one of the worst items ever added to Fortnite. The bullet drop and velocity on them is terrible. You're 15 meters away, you're tracking them perfectly, and the bullets are like 3 steps behind them. Even when they do hit, they don't really do that much damage. It is literally just a wasted spot in the loot pool. I don't know why Epic put this back in the game, because you can't craft them, you can't change them, you can't make them a regular sniper rifle, you can't make them a hunting rifle, you can't make them a railgun. They're just stuck being terrible. But what you can do is at NPCs around the map and vending machines. I actually found the NPC at Pleasant sells the railgun in competitive. A little bit questionable there. One of my favorite items in the game. Really fun for arena. Very, very terrible for competitive. Now, the railguns, the hunting rifle, and the regular bolt action sniper rifle, those you can upgrade and side grade using the mechanical parts. So you can pretty much just get a sniper rifle from a vending machine, turn into a hunting rifle with a nut and bolt. It's really fun, very exciting, and it also means that the sniper spawn rate is really, really low, which I do overall like. There's a few players of snipers running around. So like I said in my most recent video, you can't just stand there holding your shots constantly constantly with an AR beaming and never be afraid that someone's going to headshot snipe you, but not every single team and not every player is going to be running around with a sniper. So that changed the sniper meta. I'm actually all for. I really do like it, except for the fact that railguns in competitive. I really hope they just get that NPC to stop selling an arena and then it's fixed. Now the shotgun meta. This is what everyone's talking about. What are the shotguns? We have pumps, levers, and charges. It's a very weird meta. We have no tac shotgun. We have no fast firing shotgun other than, I guess, the lever. But again, I wouldn't really consider that fast. And I know what you're thinking. Why would you ever run the charge if you have the pump? And I kind of agree with you, but the way it works is you can side grade the lever into a charge, or you have to find the pump. Once you find the pump, you can also turn it into a charge. Now, I know some people who do actually prefer the charge that much that they're going to side grade their pump into a charge. I don't fully agree. I understand that a blue charge does do over 200 headshot if you charge it up a little bit. The only exception I can find is I would rather use a gray charge over a gray pump because it hits over 100 consistently, especially for spawn fighting. But overall, if I'm finding a pump, I'm running a pump. Against good players, against mechanical players, the charge is a bit too slow and clunky. I love the charge when it's only charges because it makes you be smart. You can hold cool angles, especially against tacs and levers. I like that meta, but I've never seen charge with pump. I think that's very strange. No one is really going to run the charge over the pump unless they want to sit there and just hard sizzle and cook up their charge. And even then, good players are going to know how to play around that, and they're just going to get bullied anyway. So unless I'm wrong, maybe you guys are absolute demigods with the charge. You might be able to pull it off. But for myself, I'm pretty much turning any lever I get into a charge, and I'm only running a charge until I find a pump. That is pretty much my rule right now with shotguns. There are a lot of shotguns on the map, though. I am finding them absolutely everywhere. I have no shortage of finding shotguns on spawn, which I'm a big fan of. Now, as far as mythics, there's a few different mythics in the game, and some of them are a little bit crazy. Well, I mean, almost all a little bit crazy. We now managed to have the Venom and Carnage symbiote. If you guys don't know, Carnage is from the same universe that Venom's from, the Spider-Man universe. You've seen Venom before. The idea that you have that, that mythic that in the back of the Marvel season, it used to kind of have the Venom grab. You'd extend your arms out, you grab someone, pull them towards you. It did a bunch of damage and it broke builds. Well, you have that, but now you also have glider redeploy. I haven't been able to get my hands on the mythics. I imagine they're only in pubs. I couldn't see them in arena at all. I couldn't really see any players get their hands on it, so I don't know if it's really difficult to find. Maybe they're in the game just yet, but don't quote me on this, but I'm almost positive they're not going to competitive, but they are going to be very annoying for pubs. Not only do you have Venom grab, you also have glider redeploy built in as well. Now, the other mythic is actually a melee weapon. It is basically just the Infinity Blade. It is dropped by the sideways in the sideways area, so I don't really understand. I didn't find this once in arena, so again, I have to assume it's only in pubs. It has a whole bunch of abilities and a whole bunch of attacks, and it looks like it is just a weaker Infinity Blade, which is still very, very scary. So pub players, enjoy that one. Again, I'm just really, really happy it's not in competitive. Now, let's talk about this ability to vote on weapons throughout the season. So this was from actual Epic's official blog post. They said, join the global effort. They said, your first act of influence with fellow loopers across the islands, donate the bars you earn to construction sites where you want to see turret stations built up, which is already interesting. Turrets aren't that good, so I'm not too worried. But hey, if you have a POI you love dropping and you want to have a turret to hold people, go donate your bars at that location. But this is the next big part. In the future, we'll need you to come together and decide which new weapons to develop, which ones to vote, and more. Now, that has me scared. Let's be honest, Fortnite community, we had this chance in the past during Chapter 1. We were allowed to vote on what we wanted to come back to the game. We had additions like the bouncer, and you all voted for the drum gun. Let's not make that same mistake twice. Please, for the love of God, if we have the chance to vote for something in this season, do not vote for the drum gun or any kind of spray weapon. I'm pretty sure that's mostly console kids who just love the drum gun, just box hopping and spraying people. I get it. It's fun. Please, I'm going to almost guarantee this weapon goes into competitive. I now have a platform where I can use that. And yes, I'm going to be biased towards the weapons that I want, but I'm going to be biased towards the weapons that I think are good for the game. So I'm probably going to make a video talking about the options in the future. Maybe trying to educate you guys on what I think the better option is in case it's better for the game. Hey, if the drum gun wins, it wins. Let's be honest, I don't have that kind of influence anyway. I don't think I'm really going to have any impact on what the gun is chosen to be, but cool concept. I like the idea of, again, a little bit of democracy in the game, letting the viewers and the players choose what weapon and item they want added to the game, but in the past, that hasn't gone the best, so I'm a little bit scared. Let's go on to two changes that I haven't been able to verify yet, but I'm almost positive. Chest spawn rate has increased. It feels like 90%. There are chests absolutely everywhere. There is so much more loot on the map. Doubling back to my map changes discussion, with adding like 7 or 8 more viable trio drops, and then adding chests to already existing POIs and having more spawn rate and having them at the new drops. It is honestly so much loot on the map. It is so refreshing. Every single time I drop at a new POI or one of these new locations, I get so much loot. I walk away stacked. I love it. The other one is a reduction in bloom. I had a bunch of people saying, oh, aim assist is so broken now. They buffed aim assist, but honestly, either I was just going demon mode tonight and my duo partner Josh was, or they've reduced bloom. I am hitting shots, and I was not the only one. I was getting hit harder. I was hitting harder. My viewers felt the same way. Let me know in the comment section down below whether you guys feel the same way. It seriously feels like they've reduced bloom, because when I get a scar, I feel unstoppable. I am just absolutely destroying people with ARs right now. I don't know if it's just me. Again, let me know. I haven't been able to find any leak for this. Haven't been able to find Epic saying anything. Just a feeling from me. I've never once said this before, but either I was on something tonight or they've reduced bloom. One of the other major changes we had was the Harpoon being unvaulted. Now, hear me out. I love the Harpoon for gathering loot and gathering material endgame. I find it very, very skillful. I think it adds a really good element to competitive, but I absolutely loved not having a million floppers in the game. You almost never saw players carrying floppers in this competitive meta because it just took way too long to fish them up. Now that Harpoons are back in the game, can you imagine what Harpoons, what floppers and chug cannons going to look like for heal-offs? It is going to be disgusting. We now have people being able to do double med kits with 1 chug cannon. Then they're going to have 4 floppers on top of that. Heal off meta is just going to be absolutely ridiculous. So really not looking forward to that one. I hope that potentially there is a change being made there. I don't know. I mean, I was fishing in the few arena games I found just to test it out. It looks like there's no major change to fishing. You get a bunch of fish out of every hole. You get a whole bunch of floppers. There's a lot of teams with a lot of job spots who are going to be running around with 4 to 8 floppers going into trio FNCS grand finals. And especially with 12 reboot rounds coming up where heal off is already so prevalent, I don't really think I like the Harpoon being back. Maybe an item that only grabs loot and material, and maybe it's infinite uses, so you don't have to go through your uses. Maybe pros might run that, so endgame they can gather up loot safely. I don't really like the Harpoon just because of the heal off. One of the major changes I probably should have talked about with the maps is obviously the cubes. There are Kevins everywhere now. We also have a blue cube, which I have named Bob. I don't care what you say, it is not Bluevin. I mean, Blevin's kind of cool. It's, it's a little bit of respect to Ninja Blevins, which I kind of love. Obviously, that's kind of cool because it's blue. I get it, but I am still Team Bob. I like the fact that it would be Kevin, Bob, and I'm also trying to name the gold cube Gary. If you guys don't know, in Australia, Gary is a very common name. It is actually shortened to Gaza. So I really do like Kevin, Bob, and Gaza. You guys can do what you want with that, but I am hashtag Team Bob. But the purple cubes are everywhere. They function the same as the old purple cubes. You can bounce off them. If you shoot at them, they will hit you with lightning and bounce you further away. Around all the cubes, they have those little shadow cubes, which if you use them, you go into Wraith mode where you can kind of keep pressing right click or, I think right trigger, and you can fly through the sky. If you want to get out of it, you can hold left click or I believe left trigger, and then it deactivates it. It's kind of cool. You can rotate around the map with them. You can be invisible. You can scare people. Like you can kind of use them like the cows as well. I'll get a little bit above someone and I'll hold my left click to deactivate it. I will fall, and right as I hit the ground, I'll hit a shot on them. Very, very risky, but it's a little bit of fun. Obviously we have these slipstreams as well, which I find really cool, but they don't add that much mobility around the map. They really only add mobility around those certain locations, but they make those on-spawn fights really exciting and really, really fun, which I find super enjoyable. Yes, it's not mythic POI. Yes, it's not vaults, which is what I was asking for, but hey, there's a little bit of fun to those fights. There's a little bit of an extra dynamic that I find really cool. You can also fish up. I think they're called the shadow floppers. They give you that same cube effect. Maybe carry those into endgame. Like it's decent. You can keep left clicking and just keep flying constantly, and it does stop fall damage. Maybe people might run them. I guess we'll see. Another major change that really surprised me, I didn't see coming, and maybe you didn't notice, maybe you did, reboot cards. Reboot cards now last 300 seconds. That's 5 minutes, up from what I believe they were from 1 minute. So they last 5 times as long, and there are so many reboot vans on the map. Like, look at this photo. No longer reboot vans just at major POIs, or back in the day when some major POIs didn't even have a reboot van. They are literally everywhere, and you don't have to grab reboot cards anymore. You just have to run over them. So for whatever reason, reason Epic really likes the reboot feature, and it's gonna make games really stacked. If you go down on spawn or you go down in a fight, it's gonna be that much easier to get you back in the game now, closer to your loot and closer to you in general. So I mean, I kind of like it, I guess. The ability to reboot is kind of cool. If you win a fight and you don't eliminate every single player on the enemy team and they reboot, I'm kind of okay with that. It also means that pubs and arena games are a bit more fun. If your teammate goes down, it's much easier to disengage now, quickly grab their card or come back for their card because it lasts 5 minutes, and then keep playing the game out. I do really enjoy this change. It's not one that I ever thought about making. I never thought there was a problem with reboots, but hey, hats off to Epic. They're trying something new and I'm all for it. There are some other things as well, like we had a trap that reinforces walls. We have a few other things, but I'll probably wait for a few days to really test some of this out before I make some other videos. I mean, I don't want to go into everything today until I actually have something to say about it. Some of these things are just leaked to be added throughout the season, and I just don't know yet. Also, if anything I said in today's video is wrong or it's changing, I did try to play the game as much as I could before uploading this video. I've made posts on Twitter. I've asked a bunch of people. I've tried to get the information as reliable as possible, but I'm sure as with anything with a new season, I could have got bits and pieces wrong. So if so, I do apologize. And if there is anything I got wrong, let people know in the comment section down below. I'm more than happy for you guys to correct me so other people know. All right, guys, that does it for another video. It's a new season. I'm so excited. I'm going to be making so much content on this. I'm going to be streaming a bunch of arena. I might even play some pub games. I really am excited for this season. I'm obviously going to be covering all the competitive content, same as always, but we have a few weeks without tournaments. So if you guys want to watch me play arena, if you want to watch me play pubs, if you want to swing by and just say, hey, you guys went crazy in the stream today. I just had one of the best streams of my life with no tournament, just hanging out with you guys. So if you want to swing by, it's twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. If you liked today's video, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on anything I talked about today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.